Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing well. It's been quite a while since I've actually have done a live. So hopefully you get these notifications, and I'll be waiting here until y'all come on and say hi. In the meantime, I got my crystal light here and I'm ready. Hi everybody. I like this natural light that's hitting me. Makes me look tan. Hey everybody. So we got a lot of catching up to do. A lot of you that are here. Hey Boo. Hey Felicia. Hey everybody. A lot of you may be asking, what was I up to? Why haven't I been doing lives? First and foremost, it's all about 2020 was a new decade. It's a new decade for me. It's a whole new vibe, new energy. I decided to take a couple of, instead of going, every week like I was, listening to my body a little bit more. And I was like full on doing the readings. Still, I'm almost done this week. I believe I should finish all the readings that were paid between November 28th and December 2nd. And then those that were afterwards, I'll be getting those too, before January 31st. So I'm caught up. And so I decided to focus on that and not so much on the lives, but you can start expecting to see me live again. I'm so glad to be back. I'm not 100%. I'm recovering from an upper respiratory infection. So I'm staying hydrated. I am taking my antibiotics, and my friends have been recommending the elderberry syrup. Now, I don't sound like I'm sick, but I've been having a lot of dry coughs and just sore throat, and that kind of mess is going on. So I'm glad that I'm feeling a little bit better and energized today to do this live and touch up with you. But I want to talk about the whole energy, because it's not just me, but so many of us, as this new year has begun, it started off very rocky, okay? A lot of people have been going through this. They've been feeling sick. Fatigue has been among all light workers. I don't want to just say light workers, but among everyone. The general consensus is that a lot of people are being affected. They're feeling extreme fatigue. They're feeling palpitations. They're feeling anxiety attacks. They're not being able to sleep well. They're feeling a lot of energetic sensitivity and attacks. And it's all because of the whole new decade, this whole new vibration and shift. We always have, downloads of information, and we have all of that going on at the same time. But you have to understand, we are starting a new decade. And so with the new decade, there is a whole new shift of information and a whole new vibe, a whole new energy. And we're seeing a lot of chaos around the world. People are just acting crazy. Puerto Rico with 900 and something plus earthquakes and all the damage that they've gone through. And then Australia, my Australians with all the fires. So yeah, it has been a very trying first month and we're not even done with the month. But if you've been feeling sick, I actually spoke with several of my friends who do what I do. And they've been feeling sick or energetically depleted. Like you wake up in the morning, you just feel so tired, so exhausted, and just no energy. So you've been feeling like that or getting sick, your immune system like me, upper respiratory or migraines, that's the reason why. Take care of yourself. Listen to your body. This is a whole new decade, and you're more susceptible to getting sick easily if you're not careful. So listen to your body. This is what the best advice I can give you. And thank you so much for being here on my channel today, and for all the lovely comments. I see you, Boo. Okay. All of you out there that are saying, I love your channel. I love all your videos, and I've been watching them. I love you. And thank you so much. It's all about that. And then let me see what else. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Not so much on, on anything really like interesting. Like I've been keeping more to myself more than anything, but been getting a lot of information, a lot of downloads of information for myself and my life path and where I want it to go for 2020. So it's very interesting. I'm still going to do the celebrity psychic readings. But it will be a little bit different. I'm going to be, like I said, you've already seen it. I've been changing it up, doing honey jars, spells, and other things that I'm incorporating. So yeah, take care of yourself. If you are feeling sick, listen to yourself and listen to your body. A lot of people don't know, but the Mercury retrograde is coming up on February 17th, and it's going to last for some time. I believe it ends sometime in March. So get ready. That's coming around the corner, and you will feel that close to, I want to say like 2 weeks before it actually goes retrograde. You'll be in its shadow and you will feel the effects. I know everybody's like cringing. We just got out of Mercury, right? And we're going to have another Mercury retrograde. So just expect chaos with communication, etc. I'm just looking at all the comments here. And our weather here has been so crazy. It's hot, it's warm, it's cold. Thank you, Edna, for your donation. I'm not going to be doing readings, guys, today because I'm taking care of myself. Personal readings here. But I will be doing readings on your weekly horoscope readings, but I'm going to be breaking them down by elements like I did last week, but they're just going to be done live. So yeah. Everybody's saying that elderberry is pretty good. I've never tried it, but it's a holistic, type of syrup. And I even found a recipe where you can make it yourself. Balu says, I'm an indigo and I've been so exhausted and sick at the beginning of 2020. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's horrible. Yeah, see, Benoit says, I've been having so much anxiety. Yeah, me too. And, the funny thing is that I haven't, been that person since my near-death experience to have like a lot of anxiety. And trust me when I tell you that I've been having bad anxiety to the point where you feel it like in your throat chakra, you feel it in your chest, and it's horrible. So protect your energy, protect yourself. One of the things that I've been working with recently is just pure white candles. I'm the type of person I like working with fixed candles, all types of candles, but for protection of my energy and psychic attacks and all other kind of shit that I'm not going to even talk about on here that I get from root workers, conjurers, and people that are doing voodoo and other things like that. I use white candles for protection. So I lighted 6 of them on my altar and I have them going, and it's a good vibration. The white candles connects us to the Christ consciousness. It connects us to the divine power, to the angelic realms. It's a very, very good color. And it basically, if you're doing any spell, you can always use a white candle to bring balance or to substitute if you don't have the candle color that you need for a spell. So I definitely suggest for you to work with white candles, especially if you're feeling a lot of anxiety or feeling any kind of spiritual attacks that a lot of us are experiencing. And like I notice I cannot sleep between the hours of 3 and 5 in the morning. I'm like always awake, and it's so hard to go to sleep. And I think like from 1 to 5, I'm like awake. Like not all the time I go to sleep, but then I wake up again. So that's been happening even more so than last year. Because again, the energy is so intense. I also recommend something that I suggested to my friend Melanie, who's in California. She was experiencing a lot of frequencies shifts and things like that, dealing with reptilian energy and stuff like that. So I definitely recommend Orgone. If you don't know what Orgone is, it's almost like, I would say it's like a crystal, but it's made out of resin, and it has like copper in there, and you can put your crystals that you want. You can even make your own orgonite some people call it orgon. I call it organite, and basically it helps to get rid of electromagnetic frequencies that are coming into you, um, and that kind of stuff. So I definitely suggest that you work with organite if you're sensitive, extremely sensitive to energy, specifically now since we're in this new decade. So if you haven't picked up some organite, get it. I know that I don't know, for a while, like it was like almost like wanting to be banned, or that was the rumor because of its powers. It's very powerful. So, like in my house, I have uh, a piece of organite, and it's good to have one in the four corners of your home if you want to keep like a lot of radio frequencies, especially if you live like near towers and stuff like that. It is believed that it helps, reduce all that transmission that is being emitted to you. Shungite, yeah, is good too. A lot of that. Let me see. All of my readings are on sale right now for a limited time only as well. So I wanted to talk about that because I know a lot of you that maybe didn't get to take part of the sale that I had on Black Friday back in 2019. It's the new year. A lot of you may be wanting to get a 12-month reading, getting some kind of reading insight. Just realize that if you do book, it is estimated time is 5 to 8 weeks. I know a lot of people are like, why are you so far out scheduled? It's because, again, I am in demand, but not just that. I don't want to sound like pretentious or, cocky or anything like that. I feel so blessed, but also I'm not going to, rush through any reading and give, half, like I said before, half-ass reading. That's not my style. If a person is paying for a reading, they definitely deserve it. I'm not saying I'm going to give you like a 4-5-page paragraph, a 4 or 5 page reading, because it's not necessary. It's just the information that comes through from spirit, in giving that. So if you definitely want to get a reading, this would be a good time. You can gift a reading. I'm not doing any stacking readings. If you want to like buy readings and stack them and save them, I'm not doing that because we never know what the future holds. Maybe I could be on TV later this year and I wouldn't be able to do any kind of reading. So I'm thinking ahead of time. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not saying that I am or not. I'm not confirming anything, but you never know what the future holds. So that's the reason I'm not allowing stacking on my readings. So let me go ahead and get into your horoscopes this week. I'm going to be starting with my water signs. If you are a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, and I'm going to be using this deck here, the Divine Feminine Oracle. I love this oracle card. It's by Megan Watterson. It's a 53 deck and guidebook. So I'm definitely going to be pulling some cards this week to tell you what's up, what is going on this week. And when I talk about the week, I'm talking about January 20th through the 26th. Okay, so let's get to it. And again, this is for water signs, for Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So if you're one of those, let's go ahead and pay attention. And oh, if you didn't know, today the moon is in Scorpio. So all my Scorpios out there, hey, I'm a baby from a product of a Scorpio. My mom's a Scorpio, so, and my dad was Capricorn. So I love my Scorpios out there. I can relate. All right, so I'm pulling 3 cards. These are messages for this week for all of my peeps out there that are water signs. Okay. Okay, first we got Queen Esther. Okay, I'm going to hold that up. It says here, my ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. This is all about, again, listening to your inner clock if you're a water sign, listening to your messages. You are mystical. All the water signs are very intuitive, okay? You're connected to the lunar god, to the goddess, to the lunar cycles. You're connected to the water. So a lot of you are very fluid. And what I mean by fluid is that you tend to go with what you believe in and not so much like listening to other people. Even though you do, you're very strong in your and what your beliefs are. And so Spirit is saying that you need to trust divine timing. Basically, you may be wanting some things to be accelerated this week, happening really quick, or something may not go exactly how you planned, but don't push it. There's everything happens in divine timing. So you haven't missed anything, okay? The next card I got for you is Green Tara. Green Tara is the Buddha of enlightened action. She says, my soul informs my every step. I do what my heart compels me to do. Again, y'all are you march to the beat of your own drum. So if you're a water sign this week, do what you want. Go out there if you feel like a craving to have some ice cream and it's like 40 degrees outside. I don't care if you're going to be getting bad looks as if you go to Baskin Robbins or one of those ice cream shops. Go and get yourself some ice cream. Basically, listening to those messages and indulging in that. Okay, that's going to be very important if you are a water sign. And then you got Margaret Porret. I don't know if I even said that right. She's so pretty. I love these illustrations. She's the mystic of divine love. And she says here, love is divine. I am nothing except love. So again, a lot of you are going to be focused on your love life this week. I feel like a lot of you water signs are maybe looking into your relationships. If there's fractures in your relationships, things that are outstanding, things that need to be healed within yourself, within your actual relationships, you're going to be putting a lot of attention and focus on that. Maybe your family dynamic is kind of broken. Maybe there's some space, some people that are distant in your family life. You're going to be kind of healing those areas if you're a water sign this week, okay? And so that's what I'm getting into the next ones. This is going to be for my earth signs. My earth signs are going to be Taurus, Virgo, some cards. Let me shuffle them up. Thanks, I got my burgundy shirt on. I haven't been able to wear a lot of my winter clothes that I bought, and I feel so bummed about that because in Texas, we hardly have any winter, if any. It sucks, really. Okay, here we go. For my earth signs. All right. For my earth signs, I got Catherine Labore. I don't know if I said that right. Okay, she's the patroness of miraculous healing. I am ready to heal. I am worthy of miracles meant for me. So again, for those of you that are an earth sign, I feel like this week you're going to be working on healing. Maybe you haven't been feeling well. Like I said, the energy's shifting. Maybe there's a part of you that is still hurt from the past relationships. Either it's a romantic, it could be family. And so depending on where you're at in your life and what's going on, there is some healing that needs to be taken place. So how can you heal? There's different ways. Maybe you're that type of person that holds on to things and you don't want to be judged by other people, because sometimes when you talk your truth, speak and let things out, they are misinterpreted and they take it as being something negative. So if you are that type of person, write down in a journal or on a sheet of paper a letter to the people that you would want to talk to face if they were in front of you, putting all of your emotions and things out there onto paper. This is a good way, a healthy way to get rid of your emotions. Other people handle healing through physical exercise, hitting the gym, going and doing kickboxing, doing tai chi, taekwondo, doing karate, other things, ways of getting your anger out, getting all of the emotions that you're holding on to. It's important for you to do that if you're an earth sign this week. The next one that we got here is Dakini, the enlightened feminine. Okay. And so with this, she says, my gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. Okay. So my question is, are you trusting your intuition this week? If you're an earth sign, have you been trusting it, or have you been second guessing yourself? That's the question. Spirit wants you to start trusting your intuition. No matter what you're doing, trusted this week if you're an can't even talk, earth sign. And then I got here, Frasier, the goddess of discernment. I spend my time wisely and only say yes when it's a holy hell yes. Okay. So a lot of us out there that are earth signs, like I said, a lot of you this week may be approached by people. This could be coworkers that want you to do something outside of the work, or maybe even in work, you doing their shit when that's supposed to be their thing, and they're kind of like passing the buck on. Basically, don't hold space for them. Be very firm. Talk about, talk to them. Let them know where you stand. Setting up healthy boundaries. That's going to be very important if you're an earth sign right now, is to use your discernment. Not everybody, of course, you can use your good judgment. A lot of you know exactly who out there is a slacker, okay, in better terms. And this could even be someone in your family. Maybe you have, a partner and they're just like not helping you around the house. And rather than get into an argument, you just go ahead and do the stuff that needed to be done. But you need to set your foot down and have those conversations. A lot of times in life, we go throughout our life avoiding conflict and avoiding discussions because it's easier for us to just avoid it and sweep it under the rug. But guess what? It's damaging in the end. You're not speaking your truth. You're not being transparent enough. So if you are an earth sign, it's going to be very important for you to speak your truth, stand your ground, and don't give a shit about what, let shit hit the fan, or whatever you call it this week, but bring it. Okay. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Let me get to the next one. I think we're going to do next our fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So if you're an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, here we go. All right. So let me take a little sip of my lemonade crystal light. And catch me tonight. I'm going to be interviewed by between 5 p.m. Pacific time. It will be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be interviewed by my friends Sean and Cody. They're from the New Reality. They're a duo, paranormal team, paranormal investigating team. And Sean is actually a psychic medium. And so I'm going to be interviewed by them on their YouTube channel tonight. Check that out. And I'm so grateful to them. So that's tonight between 7 and 8 Central Standard Time. But if you're in the West Coast, it would be 5 p.m. your time. Okay. Okay, so like I said, I am doing, for those of you that are tuning in, barely the fire signs. This is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Right, let's pull some cards. I have friends that are Leos. I have friends that are Sagittarius. I have a lot of fire signs. I'm sorry, fire signs that are my friends as well. Okay. A fire sign. I got white buffalo calf woman, the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is the compass. The path of love is true abundance. A lot of you have a lot of spirit guides that are Native American. Beyond the Native American, we have to think about Native Americans with this depiction here. I'm kind of giving my interpretation on this. Native Americans were very connected to Mother Earth. They were free spirits. They weren't living in and they don't live in confined to society standards. So for a lot of you out here, I feel like that's the same thing for you. Letting your heart guide you in circumstances, and not so much your ego or your doubt. Not let doubt this week in, because when you are using your heart to guide you, you're going to attract abundance. And so, like a lot of you, I feel like this is almost saying, like, if you're not happy in your work life or in any situation, you need to basically give it your all. But if you know that it's not if your heart is not leading you to it anymore, turn away from it. Go away from that. Like, get away from that. Let it go, but get away from it. So I think a lot of us have problems releasing a job, releasing a love because of fear, of what is to come, what could happen if we let go. And Spirit is saying this week to let let love guide you. Okay. Then we got for you Sappho, the poetess. It says, I love every inch of my body and I love the women in my divine femininity, whether you're a man or a woman. This is talking about self-love, okay? A lot of us do not love. This is a good topic. A lot of us do not love our bodies. A lot of us, we look in the mirror and we're disgusted by what we see in the mirror. And we should be loving ourselves unconditionally because we're all gods and goddesses in our own way. We're all made perfectly the way that we are, but we want to like alter, or we see models on magazines and it's like it's so much pressure. You go into the shops, the clothing shops, and you see these clothes and not in your size, and they don't have that, and it's very discouraging. So a lot of us tend to not cope with that, or we have eating disorders, eating problems, and we tend to use those coping mechanisms to deal with. I know for me, myself, I've spoken about this. It was food. So that I turned to whenever I was, not comfortable or I was stressed out. So like a lot of you, if you're turning to food, it's like basically Spirit is saying this week to not be harsh on yourself. You can do things in moderation. You can make changes, but you don't have to like put pressure to lose, starve yourself and lose weight, like insanely. Basically do everything that you do with love. Then we got Perpetua. Very powerful. Okay, and this is the saint of authenticity. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. Okay, so that is, again, I am authentic self in all circumstances. This week the message is very strong. Not doing anything that makes you inauthentic or not transparent, not saying things and doing things that are not authentic to you are only going to hurt you. What does that mean? Like saying lies, telling lies, being dishonest, gossiping about people, just going with your friends and doing something that they want because it's the cool thing to do, or because you think it's going to be so, good for you, at the end. You don't want to go against them or challenge their ideas because you feel like you're going to be judged. So what? It's all about your individuality. When you're an individual, a unique individual, and you stand in your power and your truth, you're being the most authentic person, and that's beautiful. That is holy. That is divine. That's sacred. And so again, I feel like that's what this card is trying to express, is that this week it's all about you really just focusing on your authenticity. Everything that you do, make sure that you're doing it with the best intentions to help not only yourself, but to help other people and heal them as well. Okay. So that was the message for this, for all of my fire signs. I'm sorry about that, Chelsea Brock. Okay, so air is the next earth, the elements that I'm going to be reading. If you're an air sign, it's going to be for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. That's what I'm going to read next. I'm an air sign, so I'm a Gemini. I'm reading myself, basically. That's crazy. Is anybody else an air? Do I have any air signs in the house? I was told by a reader recently that my energy was everywhere, that I was flying in the four corners. So I needed to ground myself. And it's like true. I mean, it was so true what I was told, because I'm so full of energy, being a Gemini. And so, yeah, I have to ground myself from time to time because I'm all up in my creativity and just trying to juggle multiple thoughts at 100 miles per hour. And it's insane. We never slow down. That's the problem. We never take time out for ourselves and do for ourselves before we do for others. And if you're an air sign, I know a lot of you can relate. Okay. Pulling some cards for my air signs. Again, this is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Oops. Okay. All right. First thing that I got here is Thecla, the prophetess of true power. She says, I call my power back from all times and all places. I am my own. Again, what I said. What did I say? A lot of us are giving away our power. We're overstretched, trying to please everyone. If you're a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, our passion is to create, to communicate, to help people, to bring the beauty and finding beauty in things. But a lot of us are really releasing our power. We're not taking care of ourselves like we're supposed to be. We're not grounding ourselves. A lot of us are suffering from high blood pressure. We're suffering from maybe blood sugar issues because people all around us are sucking out the sweetness of our life, okay? A lot of us are going through some relationship problems. So many of that is going on. You need to honor yourself, protect yourself, ground yourself. What do I mean by grounding? Going outside, walking barefoot if you can. If it's in winter and it's snowing, you can't do that. Ground yourself inside, meditate, close your eyes, take some deep breaths, disconnect from the matrix, disconnect from the internet, from the computer for a few minutes. It's not going to kill you. Trust me, it's very hard, especially if you're a Gemini. I know how hard it can be to disconnect for at least 15 minutes. It's not going to kill you to turn off that phones, turn off all the notifications. But we've become slaves. And I hate to use that word slaves because it's a very, especially with, how it's been used in the past. But all of us, like not just the air signs, we've all become slaves to technology. No matter how much you say that ain't true, you are lying, because we all are glued to this. If you're here and you're watching me, you are glued to technology, and it's almost like sucked us in some kind of way into a trap where we're just like looking at our phones. And you see people in restaurants, and I hate that. If I go out to eat with someone, I want someone to not be on looking at me and having conversations. I hate when people go to restaurants. That's my biggest thing, and they're down on their phone. They're just like this. It's so rude, and I'm like trying to hold a conversation. I'm like, hello? Am I here? But it's the truth, in all honesty, it is the truth. So if you are an air sign, call back your power this week. Also, we got Mirabai, the saint of true freedom. Okay. She says, love is what sets me free. I am married to my own soul. Very powerful, very profound message this week for my air signs. A lot of us are trying to work for the man, right? If you have a job where you're working 9 to 5, you're making somebody else's dreams come true. But what happened to your dreams? What has happened to what you want? Spirit is telling you that it's time for you to actually start focusing on your goals. Stop procrastinating. What is going to make you feel happy? If you're confined to a relationship or a situation that is stifling, that you're losing yourself essentially, why are you still in that? If it's because of fear of financial security or because of this, we go throughout life making a lot of excuses. And so we can, at the end of the day, you are the only one responsible for your own happiness. No one is responsible. If you're with a spouse that is cheating on you, if you're with a boyfriend or a girlfriend that is cheating on you and you know it and you still allow that situation, what does that say about you? How can you expect the saints? How can you expect God to respect you and to help you and to honor you if you don't honor yourself? Okay, so that's the realty. That's a very profound message. I know a lot of you that are understanding what I'm having to say about, because a lot of you y'all have gone through real life struggles. You've gone through the hard knocks of life. You have lived. If you're like me, and I have gone through some serious hard shit that I haven't even talked about on here, and I don't know if someday I think I will talk about it. But there's a lot of things that I've gone through that a lot of people don't see. They see this ray. They don't know like what I've gone through to get where I'm at. So You just need to honor yourself. That's the message this week for air signs. And the last message this week is Yeshe Tosago. I'm not good with these pronunciations. She is the lady of the lotus born. Okay. Embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. Again, this is just so powerful. Like your body, enlightenment is your third eye being open. It's being unconditional love, being connected to your higher self. You want to be the embodiment of you know the Mother Earth, to what we live in right now. So basically this week it's like, I feel like it's saying to focus on all of that. Focus on what is going to help you with your spiritual gifts. A lot of us that are air signs, maybe you've been hitting like a brick road, feeling like you're blocked from connecting to spirit, feeling like you can't channel certain things. This is all part of enlightenment. When you're an enlightened being, you're able to connect to the 5D consciousness. You're able to connect to the higher power. You're able to use your spiritual abilities to help others and help yourself. But maybe you've been feeling like you can't connect, or messages are not coming through. And it's probably because you're so stressed out. And when we are stressed and we're worried and we're going through all these hardships, it disconnects you from your gifts. And this is something that I'm teaching also on my Patreon and my psychic and mediumship courses. And I talk about this in one of the classes that I'm teaching, that if you are not taking care of yourself and your body, and you're not honoring, you're just giving and giving and giving. This is energy. This body is a sacred temple. If you're just giving and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be centered. How can you help? How can you pour from an empty cup, right? So you got to take care of yourself, especially if you're an air sign this week. That's the message, all right? So, woo! I feel like I'm in church. I'm preaching here today. Can I get an amen? Did you feel the Holy Spirit up in here? I'm just joking here. But, okay, so I've done talked enough. We still have about 20 minutes. Let's talk about what you want. Did you have any kind of questions? What do you want to talk about? You know me, I cannot take myself too seriously. I have to be putting in some kind of jokes here. Okay. Which is strange for you. I gotta be honest. If this is what being married to you is going to be like, you can take that ring off. I cannot. This ring is a symbol of love. That's it. The ring. We gotta get it off. For my dead body. Necessary. Grab this ring, please. Listen to this inscription. To gain another. Okay. Holy Jesus. Okay. Cusp factor into your horoscope. A lot of people have this thing where if you were born on the cusp, what is the cusp? It's my understanding, like if you're born closer or wherever your chart falls, if you're born on the cusp of another sign, let's say your birthday is right before, let me use Gemini. Gemini is May 21st through May 20th? I don't know, something like that. I'm just giving an example. And then the new sign starts on the 21st. Let's say you're born like within the first 3 or 4 or 5 days, before the other sign begins. That is considered like the cusp. A lot of people tend to then go with the other sign's horoscope. So the next one after Gemini is Cancer, right? A lot of people will go and read their Cancer horoscope and feel like it relates. I don't believe in the cusp. I don't know why. I had an astrologer read for me, and they said that I should read my Leo's horoscopes because I was on the cusp of Leo. But I don't know. Like for me, that's not how I interpret it. I always like now I do look at my rising and my moon signs, and I tend to, since they're both Cancer, I do tend to find that if I look at my moon sign and rising, I feel like a connection to Cancer a lot in the horoscopes. So again, it's just going to depend on you, and maybe I didn't explain that right, but there's just so many different ways to interpret it. Someone asked about. Someone asked about near-death experiences. Can I explain about that and what that means? I went through one. Basically, when you have near-death experience, your soul is basically dying in a way, and it's being reborn because you were given another opportunity to come back to Earth. Now, I could go on and on and on and on that because it goes further in. A lot of times when we have near-death experience and we come back, we're no longer, sometimes we're the same person on, of course, physically, but sometimes it's like, what do we call it? A walk-in. And sometimes that's like another soul or like an angelic uh, being that kind of steps in, and it's still your soul in there, but it steps in as well. There's a lot of different theories, and if you go into studying the shamanic and a lot of the shaman things, they're talking about a lot of times when we come back, sometimes as near death experiences, we are like fractured souls, or like we leave a part of our soul on the other side and a part here in the physical world. So there's a lot of different interpretations. There's a whole bunch of different explanations. The best thing that I can tell you is that if you've gone through a near-death experience, it's always different when you come back. It's not the same, and usually you have a revelation. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but usually you have a revelation of what is your purpose here on Earth, or a better understanding from the higher self. So again, it just depends, but that's essentially what happens, is that you're open to, like, my belief is, from what I've understood since I've gone through it, when you cross over, like even if it's just for a minute, and you come back after a near-death experience, you basically are bringing in, you have one foot on the other side, and so you've brought back like a connection to the other side, tied into your own soul. So because your soul has already been in this physical world, born, and then it dies for an instant and goes to the other side, or crosses over to the spirit realm, and then comes back into your body, your physical self, it's like your consciousness is awoken, and so you're bringing in that consciousness that has been shut off when we're born again in a new body. A lot of us are disconnected from our consciousness because of the social conditioning, the things that we're taught, the things that people put on us as society. Going to school, it shuts down a lot of that consciousness, that higher self. And so when we come back different. And sometimes we are, not the same. And like I said, so what I mean by that, not to scare anyone, I mean, like, if you've had a near-death experience and you're listening to this, take things more seriously in life because you were given a second chance. Okay, so definitely. Let me see here. I hope that kind of helps a little bit. It's just like, and I talk about that in my book. If you haven't bought my book, you can get one off of my website. It's Starseed Footsteps, and it's like 42 chapters that I kind of talk about all of this in depth, so you can have that. Let me see here. Which stone is good for unclogging my third eye? I'm not as open as I was. So much stress right now. Tanzanite, which is something that I have right here, is a good stone. Amethyst is a good stone. Azurite is a very powerful stone to open your third eye. Typically, when we talk about being blocked or clogged, your third eye, it basically is all the junk that's going on, all the fears that we have manifested in our life, stagnation, procrastination, any vices, all of those things are like low energy, low vibrations. They can cause unclogging. Now, it's not because you're a negative person or a low vibration is why you're having this. But sometimes if you are very gifted and you're an empath, you're absorbing a lot of the negative energy that other people throw your way. And so that can cause your third eye to become clogged or blocked. But essentially your gifts are always there. They never go away. Wolf Mother, what about the degrees? Are you talking about in a birth chart? Because I don't dive into that's not my area of expertise, like we're going into the reading birth charts and the degrees of where it falls into the birth chart. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know because I don't. I'm not into that deep into the astrology. But maybe there's somebody else here that does know about it. But I know like there are sites that you can go to and get your like birth chart read, and it explains those degrees and stuff like that. Okay, Raven Moth asks, Ray, do you consider yourself to be the divine feminine or divine masculine? I actually consider myself to be both, but I do operate more out of my divine feminine. It's just who I am. It is what I feel. In fact, this is so funny. I'm glad that you asked that because you hear me talking on here, but whenever I talk on the phone and I'm talking to other people, they're always like, ma'am, I used to work in a call center for those of you that didn't know. And every client that I worked with, they all thought I was a ma'am. At the end of the call, they were like, oh, let me speak to your supervisor. You're so amazing. And then they get the supervisor, and the supervisor was like, oh, she was so amazing. And I'm like listening to the conversation because sometimes my supervisor wouldn't have me transfer. They would take it there. And I'm like, girl, I'm not a I'm not a woman. I'm a man. But apparently, that I was like, I've always asked myself, why did they consider that? Because I don't feel like I sound like a woman, but on the phone, it's different. And maybe some of you out there feel like I do. But I'm not embarrassed. I mean, it's just who I am. But I do feel like I'm very connected to the divine feminine. And, I do have the divine masculine, but I do operate, and I tend to operate more out of the divine feminine. It's who I am. I can't change it. And I don't think I would want to change it. I really like it. But there's a lot of people that operate more like when I do readings, I actually explain that there's a lot of people that operate out of the divine masculine, and there's some that operate out of the divine feminine. So it just depends. Like everybody operates in a different way. That's a good question. All right, let's. Yes, Chris Montoya, he does do a blueprint. I don't know exactly what that entails, Chelsea, but he would be a good one to go to. Hey, Ryan. Oh, Ryan, thank you for that link. If you didn't catch it, it's astro.cafeastrology.com/natal. There's a lot of websites that you can actually go to and input your information, like it'll ask you for your location, where you were born, the time of date. You can get that off of your birth certificate, the time you were born if you don't know it, what city you were born, and then what's your date of birth. And it will give you it'll tell you exactly what is your moon, your rising, and sometimes it can give you even more, like the birth charts, and you can go out of that further. Thank you, Raven. And yes, for those of you that are listening about that divine femininity or divine masculine, there's a lot of females out there that I know that operate out of their divine masculine. That's why, like, when I say divine masculine, it's not that you're masculine, but you may have elements in your personality and I don't want to sound like, if I explain it, it may come across the wrong way. But how I can say that is like, if you're operating out of your divine masculine and you're a female, you may tend to gravitate towards men a little bit more, or feel like they can relate to you more than people that operate out of their divine feminine. Divine feminine people, if you're a male and you are more in your divine feminine, you're going to be able to open up more to females, and you're going to have female friends. Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. Todavía tengo 30 minutes. Sorry, guys. I'm back. All right. So as I was explaining about divine masculine, if you are operating out of your divine masculine, that may happen. You may also like if this is actually a good thing. I may actually do uh, a video. I think this is will be a good topic because divine masculine. There's so much I need to talk about that. Divine masculine people, like let's say you're a female and you're operating out of the divine masculine. A lot of times you have problems with love life, especially with partners that are males. Because if you're operating out of the divine masculine and that male partner is operating out of the divine masculine, you have two divine masculines. They're going to clash. They're going to clash. You're going to find that the men are not liking because you want the control in the relationship. Maybe you're just very outspoken. You're not going to put up with the bullshit. And you're going to be like a man would, and treat them kind of like the business type, It's all business. That's like how divine masculine kind of more operates. So if you're a female operating out of your divine masculine and you're having love life problems, this is probably why you're having the love problems. How can you bring it back down and have more balance to operate out of the divine feminine? Basically, there's many ways to do this. Doing things the opposite that you would from a divine masculine. Period, right? Period, too. So basically, you would be like trying to release compromise, learning compromise. These are all things or aspects of our soul that we need to change in order to learn from it and kind of balance out the divine femininity. You think about the divine femininity. Divine feminists are very soft. They're very much in touch with their femininity, with expressing themselves. They like to be sexy. They like to love them, they take pride in their appearance. They're very nurturing. They're very understanding. Divine masculine is more logic. It's more, business mind. It's more, into sports. And I'm not saying like, I don't want the lines to be blurred so you're not understanding, but that is kind of like how divine masculine and divine feminine works. And so if you're operating out of the divine feminine, let's say you're a male and you're in divine feminine and you're trying to have a female and let's say she's operating out of the divine feminine, and you have two people together now that are divine feminine, right? It's going to be very hard because both of you are going to be emotional. Everything's going to piss each other off. Your emotions are going to be caught up. Things that are said are going to be having a greater impact. You're going to start feeling like you need to find comfort in a divine masculine energy. That's why a lot of these relationships tend to not last, and people tend to gravitate towards someone that is the opposite, the polar opposite. So if you're like a male and you are interested in females and your female is divine feminine and you're divine feminine, you're operating out of that, then you need to balance your divine masculine. Divine masculine is like making more of, decisions, not being indecisive. Girlfriend, your wife, being the provider, obviously. I know this may sound like toxic masculinity when I talk about it, but it's like aspects of what you would expect in a man, right? In a divine masculine energy. And I could go on and on and on, but yeah, that's a good topic. I think I'm going to actually do a video because I think a lot of people would love it. And not only that, it would explain a lot of things of why relationships are not working out or why like friendships don't work out. Because I have a lot of people that come to me and they're like, Ray, I haven't been able to have any and these are women, like I haven't been able to have any girlfriends, women that are female friends. Like haven't been able to like get along with them. They always turn on me, I don't have any. I'm very private. And like, what's the reason? And 10 out of 10 times, I don't even see it. And I see it. Picture when I read photographs of people, I'm not looking just at the soul. I'm not looking just at the energy. I'm looking at the soul level, and I'm seeing all of that mixed in, and I can just see it, and I know. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing that. All right. Any more questions? Let me see. Y'all got me up in here. I'm like very passionate today about this. This is very good topics. Like divine masculine, I have to go back to it because I just saw what Cynthia R wrote. She's like, I have divine femininity with my appearance. Exactly. Like men, divine masculines are not worried about their clothes. They're not into fashion like me. This is the divine femininity when you are like more into the fashion world. You care about your appearance. You are getting your facials. You're putting your makeup on. You're getting your hair did. You are accessorizing. You take pride in yourself. Not saying that divine masculine can't do that, but divine masculine is not really worried about that. They're more worried about like protecting and bringing in the bread and the butter and their finances, and sports and kind of like they're really unfiltered. They have no, they're at the dinner table. They're not worried about like, patting themselves. It's like, let me get my fingers in. Let me just eat. So I hope that kind of explains it because I could go on and on and on. I'm going to make a video about that. I definitely am. Olivia Isha's like, yep, I have 0 friends, female friends. Yeah. And you can have it anytime. It's not like you're set in stone forever to be operating out of the divine masculine or the divine feminine. I think a lot of people tend to think that maybe your divine masculine or your divine feminine, if you're operating out of one of them, is damaged in some kind of way and it needs healing. But it's okay. I think a lot of us tend to operate out of different. It's not a bad thing. I don't see it as a bad thing, but a lot of people tend to think that if you operate out of one of your dualities, excuse me, that it's a bad thing, and it's not. Okay, 22222. What does that mean? It is a repetitive number. It's a synchronicity. It's an number. There's many different meanings. I talk about what it means. I can't remember off the top of my back, but when I talk about when I talk about angel numbers, basically when we see them over and over and over, and a lot of people don't believe that this is what spirit has revealed to me. So again, there may be different explanations. When we see angel numbers over and over and over again, there's basically some part of ourselves that is procrastinating or not willing to go forward due to fear, due to not being sure, overthinking something, and we're stuck in a stagnant pattern or cycle. And in most cases, that's like their calling card. That is like spirit saying, hey, there's something wrong in your life that you need to change, and only you can do it, and you know about it. So yeah, that's what that means. Yeah, I get along with females more than I do with guys. Now I do have some guy friends, but female friends outweigh my guy friends. Other than Ryan, I don't think I have that many. And my friend Ted, let me see, I'm starting to count my fingers. Ryan, Ted, let's see who else. My friend, let me see, I'm trying to think. Not too many. There's probably a couple more. If you're tuning in and you're one of my guy friends, I mean, no offense by that, but I have so many more female friends than guy friends, and it is what it is. Okay, let's see her. Yeah, I mean, there's some people that have no friends, Darren. You're absolutely right. And then that is like something entirely different. It could be that there is a part of you that is damaged, a part of you that needs healing, a part of you that is trying to shield. A lot of people that I come across that have no friends or have trouble having any friends at all, they have created a magnetic in their aura. We all have, like, from right here on out, we have our aura. That is our energetic protection, our little bubble. A lot of people that have strong psychic abilities, strong spiritual abilities, or mediumship abilities tend to shield themselves, especially if there are star seeds. It's very possible that you are shielding yourself. And what happens is that you create like a bubble, like all around you. It's not even your aura. It's like a protection field. And nothing is allowed in that protection field. But yet a lot of people feel comfortable because that is their bubble. That's their comfort and their safety. And when that happens, you're not able to see clearly on the outside. Okay, it becomes almost like you see flaws and patterns and illusions that are there, and it prevents you from having and establishing those friendships. Some people say, oh, it's just I'm strong-willed, people can't handle my energy, or it's just the way I choose to be. But when that happens, it's double-sided, because at the same time that you're not allowing people in, you're not allowing yourself to have connections on the outside world. You're not allowing yourself to have clear visibility on the outside, because it's a protection mechanism. It is a self-defense, and it's a damaged part. And that's something that people have to change. If you're in that situation where you have no friends at all, that's like a lonely place to be. I don't believe that we came to this world to be by ourselves and not have any kind of support system, even if it is angelic assistance. Even if you say that you don't have anyone, that's not true. I feel like a lot of people that see it in that way, there's actually a support system, even if it's invisible to you, but spirit is always present with us. It's just a matter of realizing that. So again, I know a lot of people that have that protection bubble up. It's hard, to let that down, because they feel like they're right and you can't tell them nothing else. They're not going to change for you. They're not going to change for anybody, and it becomes damaging. And ultimately, you're hurting yourself the most when you don't have friendships. If you cannot trust other people, it becomes kind of like, who are you going to turn to if you need something? If someday, we all need somebody. So don't be that person. If you can, work on healing that part of yourself, and slowly stepping out of your comfort zone. That's the best advice that I can give, because the world is heavy enough as it is, and there's enough bullshit in the world to deal with already, than for us to not have people, that we can trust. And I'm I'm that type of person. Like, I have learned to trust other people, but for a long time I had trouble doing that because of the abuse growing up, the bullying. A lot of that kind of becomes your protection mechanism. So you have to kind of venture out of that and become free. Like, when I first started YouTube channel, like, this you see here, me being comfortable in front of the camera, was not the case. Like, I cringe. I need to actually do a video of me reacting to one of my first videos. I had the most ghetto setup, and not even just that, but I was so like frightened. I wouldn't even look at the camera. I would just talk, and I would talk fast. And I started noticing that about myself. I was talking so fast in my oldest video, which is like from 2016. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I was like trying to, I was so nervous when I would get in front of my laptop and record those videos in the beginning, that that I would just like talk 100 miles per hour just to finish it up. And they were all pre-recorded, and I would upload them into my YouTube channel. And that's how I was in the beginning. So if you ever go back and, oh my God, if you look at some of my videos, I'm that type of person. I cringe at some of the older content that I have out there, because there's so much glow up that I've gone through, so much growing up, and evolving as a person, as a human being. And I feel more comfortable in myself and who I am today, but I can't say that I was in 2016. So if you're that person like me in 2016, know that your glow up is coming, okay? Be confident in yourself. Take it step by step. You don't have to rush into anything or transform yourself to make somebody else happy. You have to do what you have to do for yourself. This makes me happy. This is why I come in front of the camera. This is why I'm here with my rays of light. I've created a community, and I'm so glad and grateful that I have you, and that I have this community. And that maybe through this community, we can help ourselves as brothers and sisters, and help elevate consciousness, and help each other understand our problems and the things that we're going through. Because, like I said, there's not too many of that. There are a lot of channels, there's a lot of spiritual community out there, but a lot of it doesn't feel safe. A lot of it feels very, one-sided. A lot of it feels like you're going to be judged. And I've been there, and I talk from experience, because I used to be on Facebook groups, and the Facebook groups were like spiritual psychic groups and things like that. And people were just savage on there. They did not care about a person's feelings, the delivery, the messages. It was just like, they were just plain 100% savage. And that can hurt people, and that can damage people. when you are not treating them like respect. Like somebody would post a picture, can you tell me what you see? And there would be like so many people just like talking, well, you have confidence issues, you are an abuser, you look like a drug user, and like people were like just savage. I mean savage. If you ever been in a chat room or been in a psychic group, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's so different. And so this is why I don't tolerate negativity on my channel. I block people when I leave videos, when I drop videos, and people are negative in the comments section, they get deleted and blocked. I have no time for foolery, okay? The 2020 me is not going to allow that. So it's like, yeah, you have to like remove yourself from the toxic people. And a lot of people feel entitled to say what they want to say. There's a difference between sharing your opinion and then just trying to get mind fuck somebody, right? And actually try to, because a lot of these is how a lot of these trolls work. They know that they cannot get to you because you're spiritually strong. So they try to get to your mind. And how do they get to your mind? They'll say something that's not true about you, but at the same time, they know that that's going to have some kind of effect. This is the same thing that I've been talking about to a lot of you out there that are going through problems, maybe in your family, in your relationships. Don't let somebody do this to you and get to right here to the mind, because that's how a lot of narcissists, a lot of toxic masculine men, and some toxic feminine women operate out of that. They try to throw low blows, talk about you being this, this, and this, and this, and they know that points. They know that that gets to you, and you can't let them get to you, because a lot of times when you do that, and especially if you're an intuitive, that's going to block your gift. You start doubting yourself. You start doubting your gift. You start not being able to connect to your higher self. So you need to be strong. You need to be very focused and call your power back. Okay? Don't, people are going to talk about you at the end of the day. They're going to say whatever they're going to want to say, but you don't have to tolerate it. You can put a no on it. You can protect yourself from that. And just know that they're talking out of spite. And I vanquish that spite. I am the vanquisher of spite on my channel. So yeah, you'll see a lot of comments being, and when like I do controversial topics like Epstein, what's the other one? Nipsey. When I did all of these videos, like I had to actually block, or like a lot of people watch those videos and they've had like 25,000 views or whatnot. I had to disable the comments. Why? Because people do not know limits. Okay, just because you have a computer and you think that you can tell people what you want to say and whatever it is, and it's like they take it out on me. I'm just the messenger, but they kind of like try to do that, and I see it being done to other YouTubers out there as well. So the best thing for yourself, for your mental health, is to just disable comments. It's like, people, you don't need to read that. You don't need to take the negative shit that people throw out there, because there's a lot of toxic people that are not happy with themselves at the end of the day. And it's sad, that they don't feel comfortable enough in their skin. But I'm talking from experience. You need to limit yourself, especially if you are a YouTuber. And if you're in social media and you have someone on your Facebook group, I have a lot of Facebook friends that come to me and they're like, Ray, this person is I'm friends with, and I left, I posted something and they were like, they didn't like it. So then they came for me in the comments in my post. I'm like, well, why are you tolerate it? Block them. That's not a true friend. If you have somebody that is talking to you in a very negative, condescending, or sanctimonious way, you don't need that kind of energy. What are you doing holding on to those friendships? Because you're afraid of losing them? Do they pay your bread and butter? Do they pay your bills? No. At the end of the day, you got to do for yourself. You got to protect yourself. If you don't, ain't nobody out there that's going to protect yourself. And I'm just telling you like it is. And that's how it is. It's a thug world out here. It's very much the thug world. People are keyboard thugs, and they will say whatever they want to say. But when you see them in person, guess what? They ain't going to be talking to you in your face like that, because they know they're going to get popped. So anyways, I just had to say that. A lot of people are like that. When you see them in public, they're like looking the other way. But anyways, I had to drop that. Because you know very damn well that ain't nobody that talks like they do online is going to talk to people like that in their face. Or they're going to be like that, cash me outside. Like, that's how I feel like saying sometimes to people. Cash me outside, like that. What's her name? Bad Barbie, Bad Baby, whatever her name is. The girl, what is it? Her Danielle. What's her name? It was Danielle something. I can't remember her last name. But she was on that Dr. Phil, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Now she's like this famous rap star. I need to do a psychic reading to her, but I'm kind of cringing. I feel like she would react to it. Or like, what's her name? Nicki Minaj says, what was the one thing? She says, what's good? Yeah, Bergoli. I couldn't think of it. She's so funny. I think actually, you know, I like some of her music. Some of it. I know. Don't come for me in the comments about Danielle Bergoli, whatever. But I think she's pretty talented. Somebody say I can't stand that child. But she is who she is at the end of the day. You know, she is very outspoken. Some people are like, it can't stand her. People are savage when it comes to her. Like, she is the most hated person. And I think it's because of her personality and that energy. If you don't know who I'm talking about, just look at Cash Me Outside or Bad Baby, whatever. I hope I'm not butchering her name. Danielle Bergoli. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank you so much for being here. Again, all of my readings are in sale for a limited time. People are asking how long is the sale going to run. I'm not sure. It may go into February. If you want to book a reading, you can. Turnaround time is expected 5 to 8 weeks. That's projected. It could be much sooner. I want to thank you so much. I will have some new videos coming out. Blessings and love and light. I love you all. Until next time. Bye.